Greetings, family. Sister Shanice here, and welcome to African News Affairs. We are going to be talking about the situation in Palestine stroke Israel that's ongoing at the moment. As we know, the war has been raging now for over a month in the region of Gaza. Well over 11,000 people have been murdered so far. There are echoes from the Pan-Africanist quarters that suggest that this isn't Africa's business and this war has nothing to do with Africans, and so we should stay out of it. But we have a guest who disputes that position, none other than our brother Ras Aswad Nkrabia. Let's bring on our brother Nkrabia to speak to us today. Welcome, Brother Ras Aswad Nkrabia. Ras Nkrabia, he's the Deputy CEO of the Empire Agric Ghana Limited. He's also a social and political activist and Pan-Africanist. Welcome to African World Affairs.
Yes, greetings, Sister Shanice. It's a pleasure once more to be here with you. It's been a very long time. And especially at this moment when the world is in so much turmoil, it's necessary for us to have some dialogue on the issue. So thank you very much for inviting me on this program.
It's indeed a pleasure because, you know, we want to hear different perspectives on this particular really important topic. I mean, war is raging right now as we speak. It's estimated that well over 11,000 people have unfortunately lost their lives so far as a result of this war that's happening between Israel and Palestine. And you want to remind us that there is also an estimated 45,000 inhabitants in the Palestinian region who are sometimes referred to as Afro Palestinians. These are the descendants of some of the original people, original occupants of the region, who are also victims of the war. And you feel that there is and ought to be a counter-revolutionary position to those Africanists who says this war has nothing to do with us. You feel that this long-standing racist genocidal agenda against the occupants of the land called Palestine goes back thousands of years, and that we shouldn't also lose sight of the fact that there are African Hebrew Israelites in the Domina region in Palestine right now from the USA who are also battling against the deportation order for them to vacate the land. So let's go over and hear from our brother Ras Nkrabia.
Yes, greetings everyone. And I say it's a pleasure to be here once more. I was inspired really to go, come on this program today because of the fact that I was a little bit taken aback when I recognized that our African militant and revolutionary and conscious brothers have come out and sisters have come out and say that the issue that is going on in Palestine, Israeli occupation, has nothing to do with us. I think it is so far from the truth, the facts, and the reality. And if we do the scientific analysis, we will recognize that it is our business because we are living in a world where we are interconnected, and our main enemy, which is the United States of America and Israel and Britain and NATO, have come against oppressed people of the world. And the only way that we can really battle them and win this fight is for a united front of the oppressed people. And the Palestinians are oppressed people of the world as well. Aside from that, the land of Palestine, the land of Israel, is African land, is part of the African continent. So to take a position to say we have nothing to do with the war over there is actually really empowering, giving empowerment to the negative forces to rule and reign. It is important that we go back and remember that over the years, some of our most important leaders have supported Palestine as a result of the fact that the revolutionary solidarity is important in order to fight the common enemy. So to take a position of non-engagement, it is only going to weaken the revolutionary struggle. And I think what we need to do is to recognize that all the other issues that are going on in Africa, such as the Congo, such as Niger, etc., etc. They are all interrelated. It is the same enemy force that is creating all those problems. So to isolate one and to say, oh, we are only going to focus on this, it's not going to give the empowerment that is necessary to defeat this main imperialist capitalist entity. So what we need to do is to actually try to unite all these struggles as one, because the oppressed people of the world is going through the same problem from the same enemy force. So this is where my contention is with my beloved brothers who have come out and made that statement. I think it is going to defeat or weaken their position, because we must remember that a large portion of the budget for the revolutionary struggles during the apartheid regime came from the Palestinians. Arafat made sure every year part of that budget that was for the Palestinian struggle was given to the revolutionary movement. People like Samora Machel, Malcolm X, and Amilcar Cabral, Julius Malema, Angela Davis, and all these activists are all in solidarity of Palestine from the standpoint of resistance, right? It's important to resist the United States as the #1 enemy and Israel as its main military base in the world. So this unity is very necessary, and to try and separate and counter what is happening now, it is going to weaken or shorten the defeat, right, of the United States and Israel. So I think those are our brothers and sisters need to relook in terms of the strategy. What strategy do we need to use to counter these two main forces? Because once the United States is defeated, NATO is defeated, then our task is much easier to address a lot of the problems that are going on the African continent. I take, for instance, what is happening in Niger, the recent West Africa upsurge of that unity. We must remember that support that was given by Russia to assist our brothers to get to that point. These are the kind of allies that we need to network with in order to be able to fight this battle. We cannot take up a position of non-engagement because it's not Black people's struggle. Every single inch of Africa is our problem, is our issue. And we should stand there to make sure that the right thing is done and justice is secure. Because it's all about rights and justice. That's basically what it is. Are we going to stand on the side and say we are not going to ensure justice because those people are not our people in terms of color or ethnicity? When in fact, we have, as you said before, over 44,000 Africans are living in that same place that are being bombarded today. The Hebrew Israelites community is there. Who is looking out for the Hebrew Israelites? Should our brother take a position to say we don't care about what is happening with the Hebrew Israelites that are there in Dimona, which recently there were about 2 or 3 bombs that was dropped beside the atomic reactor in Dimona. So what would have happened if that had hit the reactor? There would be an explosion there which would affect that community big time, right? So I think that it's very important that we really relook at our position in that sense. And they have gotten a lot of attention over the world, and a whole lot of people is supporting that and say, yes, we need to leave them alone and let them kill off each other. They're not going to kill off each other. They're going to destroy our land. And they're going to kill our people. They're going to create more disturbance and war in the world than anything else. So it's very important for those of us who know better to step in and address the issue.
Thank you so much for those that opening there. There certainly has been a cycle of genocide and destruction that's been happening in that region for thousands of years. And certainly our people have been the victims of that genocide and the murder and destruction that's been happening in that region, and continue to be so as well. There's been a huge amount of change to the point now where maybe this generation, less familiar with the history, don't know that was originally part of African land occupied by African people. But what we have seen is that the people of Ghana have made their position clear. They came out in mass support, didn't they?
Yes, we came out, the socialist movement of Ghana and the Palestinian Solidarity Committee along with many other organizations, other United Front, that came out and come out and make our position very, very clear that we are not in support of what is happening there. The president of Ghana have made it plain and clear that he's siding with Israel. So it's very important for us to have a strong position here to defeat that. And that means certain things if he's siding with Israel.
A very concerning position indeed, when the position of the leader of a country is totally opposed or in the opposite direction of what the people of the country want. And we're seeing this all too often. And so, yeah, here we have the leader of Ghana siding with those that they may call the Zionists and ignoring the views and the wishes of their own people. So the people came out in their tens of thousands, possibly more.
And Sunday there was also another demonstration, major demonstration in a community named Nima. It's a ghetto area. Whole lot of people came out again in opposition and want peace, calling for peace. You know, it's very important that I make this point, Sister Shanice. I do understand what our brothers are saying about the racist attitudes of the Arabs, which include some Palestinians as well, right? We know that as African people, we are despised and looked down on and oppressed all over the world by all the other races. They see us as nothing and they treat us like dogs and treat us like animals, etc., etc. So they do have a point in terms of the prejudice that is going on in some of these Arab countries, right? And even within Palestine itself. But that's an issue that needs to be taken up separately and addressed from a different standpoint, not in the middle of this battle when there's a revolution about to happen in the world that would destroy the United States and Israel and NATO, and you are coming in to intervene and saying you have nothing to do with it, and have divided the struggle by doing that. So that is my contention.
And so, you know, you mentioned the names of some of our revolutionary freedom fighters a short while ago whose position was very, very clear. They stood with the oppressed, and they stood united, didn't they, with the people, and that was the position that they took. Today, yeah, we can see a very different position. You've mentioned a position of the president of Ghana. That position is now split. We've got some African leaders wanting to support Israel and others wanting to maintain the original position where, as Africans, we stand with the oppressed. But as you've mentioned, despite that position, you know, the racism that Africans have been experiencing from the people of Morocco, Tunisia, that we've all seen our people just being left stranded in the Sahara Desert. You know, it makes it very difficult for Africans to then want to turn around and support the Arab world when they see that sort of abuse being meted out. And also, I suppose, some people would ask, well, what about the Arab world? Why are they not standing with their people? Should we not be waiting for them to come out and boldly stand with their people before we are being called to also stand with them? Those who are also the invaders of the land, the descendants of those that invaded the land in the first place that originally belonged to Africa. So it's a very sticky, complex situation. Yeah. Where is the Arab world in this?
Yeah, you know, Sister Shanice, when it comes to the issue of justice, if you are one person in the world and you recognize that justice must be done and you have to give your life for it, you should do it, because justice is not about crowd and numbers and whatever. Justice is justice, right? What is going on there in terms of what Israel is doing? Most of these Arab countries, they are part of the same system of the United States, right? Some of them was even preparing to work out a major deal with Israel to normalize relationship when the Palestinians decide that they're not going to take no more. And I applaud the Palestinians for their actions, because what they did on the 7th of October was to tell you that the people have reached a limit and they're not taking it anymore. And when it comes to resistance, if you don't resist, you're not going to get your justice. The whole world today is coming out against Israel because of the major sacrifices that the Palestinians have made with their life by attacking Israel and defeating them. Israel has already lost the battle because of the fact that they were presenting themselves as being untouchable. They have the most technologically advanced system and military, and then they have the United States behind them. And the United States today just bluffing and posturing and trying to prevent itself because it has already been weakened by this advocacy and the war in Ukraine, etc., etc. So it's a dying system that is going down, and Israel is going to go down with it. So is NATO. So we should unite to see that all these enemy forces is destroyed.
So we hear the resounding voice there of our brother Ras and Krabia in terms of where we ought to stand as a people. We should stand with Palestine and the Palestinian people, who are the oppressed people in this situation. And in so doing, if all the oppressed people of the world were to stand together, we could defeat those wicked enemy forces who are making life hell for many countries around the world, especially in Africa as well. Thank you so much, Brother Rasan Krabia, for joining me today on African World Affairs so that we could hear the other side of the perspective in terms of where we as Africans ought to stand regarding the war situation between Palestine and Israel right now. One love.
Yes, give thanks, Emirates.
Sister Shanice out of here for now.